Good morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever you see this, this is Dee with Older INFP-A, Assertive Insights. And I'm trying to get off YouTube, but people keep dragging me back. So today we're doing the Vondelpeet INFP Tag Challenge, which I noticed this morning. Haven't had my coffee, so I noticed this morning that I was tagged to answer some questions. And I have not seen his video, so I don't know the directions or how this works. Like in true INFP form, I'll read the directions after I do the challenge. But there are a lot of questions, and he said, and I was tagged, and Radish Raven was by him. And play along if we want to. And I don't know if we want to make a video play along or answer questions, and I should just flood his feed. But I am going to answer his questions. Or whoever's questions these are. Yes, I'm going to play. I don't have anybody to tag that I think would do this. I don't know that much INFP. I have no friends, and I thrive in knowing that I have no friends, and particularly the INFP friends I do have who have already done this challenge that I know would do it. So we have a small circle. So here we go. This is the Vondelpeet INFP Tag Challenge. Yes, I'm going to answer all these questions about INFP personalities. Here we go. Let's dive into it. When did you first discover you were an INFP, and how did it make you feel at the time? I first discovered I was an INFP when I took an online test about 6 years ago. And so that would put me at age 70 plus. I felt like that fit. Because earlier I lived my life as INTP, or thinking, and I thought this does not work. So I felt like it, it's a breath of fresh air. At that time, it has kind of since changed a little bit. What part of being an INFP do you relate to the most? The part about being an INFP that I relate to the most, based on majority of my videos, has to do with options. Our extroverted intuition. Intuition. I am mostly intuition on all the tests. Introversion and intuition. So I do love it. I do love playing around with it. I do love fooling people sometimes. Well, that's another thing. That's an internal game that I play with people. But it would have to be, that's what I relate to the most, is the external intuition. What INFP stereotype do you not relate to at all? Is that I sit in my room and I'm extremely depressed and I never shower and I never achieve anything and I never do anything, and that I'm dumb, and what else are we? We're lazy, we're dumb, we don't shower. But don't shower is mainly, I heard about INTP. Well, but yeah, that. I can't stand that. What values are you absolutely unwilling to compromise on? Values. Honesty, is that a value? I don't know. I'm just about honesty. I will not compromise on that. Tell me the truth. I'm going to find it out anyway. Going back to the extroverted intuition, I'm going to find out about it anyway. You might as well tell me to start with. That is, I will not compromise on that. No, and I don't know if that's a value. That's my value. How do you usually know when something feels off or misaligned for you? My gut. Plain and simple, my gut. What does authenticity mean to you in your everyday life? Well, authenticity means just being me, being who I am, and not wearing a mask to please other people. Are you more driven by meaning or by comfort, and has that changed over time? Well, I'm driven by meaning, but right now that I'm older, I want it to be comfortable meaning. In the past, yes, it's changed over time. I've gotten softer. Um, when I was younger, I wanted meaning, and it just meant I didn't care if it made anybody uncomfortable. I just blurted it whatever out. Now I'm working on my EQ, emotional intelligence, and trying not to be um, find that much meaning. I'm not like I had a coworker one time that told me ask how I liked her dress, and I said, well, do you want me to be honest? Going back to my value, and she said, yes, be honest. And I said, well, the dress is nice, but it's not for you. And she's like, well, you don't have to be that honest. So, so yeah, I'm trying to be comfortably meaningful. How do you recharge when you are emotionally drained? Sleep. It's the only way to turn my brain off. What kind of environments make you feel the most like yourself? The forest. Gotta have trees. How do you express yourself? Well, I have several YouTube channels. I think that speaks for itself. Earlier days, I was a poet. I used to express myself through poetry. I just recently finished, got a song that I wrote lyrics for 50 years ago that I put to music. So, yeah, I just kind of, I express myself in ways that's just to myself, not out there in the open. Do you struggle more with starting things or finishing them? Yeah, finishing. Like the song, took 50 years, but I finished it. But finishing them, have a ton of things I start. How do you handle conflict, and what do you wish people understood about that? Um, Two things about conflict. I am learning not to just explode, but I usually in the past, and I'm working on it, um, not telling how I feel really, and then it just boils over and it explodes, and then people are like, oh, I didn't know you had that in you. I've heard that so much in my life. I didn't know you had that in you. Well, just quit ticking me off. Um, but now what I do is I walk away. And what people don't understand about either one of these, number one is that I'm not a pushover. Um, you misunderstood that by thinking that I am kind of laid back and easygoing, that I'm that way all the time, and nothing you do or say is going to upset me, and then you're surprised you don't understand when I blow up. The second part is when I walk away to protect myself. I'm not walking away from the conflict. I'm not walking away. I don't like to be blindsided. I don't like somebody to say, well, we need to talk about this. Well, no, I need to think about that. I need to walk away, which looks like I'm escaping and not confrontational, but that's how I survive. I can come back later and discuss it in a rational manner, but I do walk away. What role does nostalgia play in your life? Right now, I'm trying to live in the present, doing something different. I know INFPs are very nostalgic, and they live in the past and live in the future. I'm trying my best to live in the moment, and it's kind of working. Um, the only time right now, um, I used to use the past all the time to figure out how to solve problems, like what worked in the past, which is typical INFP. But now what I'm trying to do is I look towards what my grandmother, that I feel like was the only person that um, acted like she got me. I know she didn't, but she did accept me for who I was. And so I would say, and she's a very simple person, and I just look and say, well, what would she do in this situation? So that's what I do now. Do you feel misunderstood more often than not, and in what way? I don't have enough time for this one. I'm never understood. How's that? I am never understood. Um, in every way. In every way. I'm never understood, and I don't have time for that question. Not enough hours in the day. Um, how do you balance wanting to keep deep connection with needing a lot of alone time? That's a good one. I have no problems with doing that. The world has problems with that. Um, I have come to understand that I'm not for everybody, and I tell people that. And then when I look for friends or look for whatever, and I do have social profiles. I think a lot of people, most everybody does, and I'll put on there. I need a lot of alone time. And when I meet somebody new, for whatever reason I meet somebody new, I say that up front now. I need a lot of alone time. It has nothing to do with you. It's how I recharge. And if people can't, because I've disappeared for 3 or 4 days, um, I like to travel and sometimes disappear that way. But I will be back. And if they can't handle that, I test them out. And if they can't handle that, then it's not a good fit. So I've learned to be by myself and enjoy myself and understand. Like right now in my apartment, I'm in a senior community. So right now in my apartment, I have a note on my door, please do not disturb, because if I'm in my apartment, leave me alone. They don't understand why, they don't understand me. They think I'm antisocial. I really don't care what they think anymore, because I'm feeling better inside, living inside, doing this. Um, so how I balance it is like right now my world is really small and I don't have to work, but I take the people that I live with and I tell them, I say, if I want to socialize, you'll see me out and about. I'll be in the lounge, I'll be walking around the neighborhood, I'll be out. I'll come find you. I'll be out. Don't come to my door wanting something. There's one neighbor that thinks I'm a grocery store, and I'm not. She's walking all over the top of me, wanting this. Well, I'm out of salt, and I'm out of this. Well, go to the grocery store. Don't bother me about that. So that's how I've worked with it, is I've set boundaries. People don't listen to them, but I set the boundaries. I do right now have a note on my door. Please do not disturb unless it's an emergency. I'll find you. Don't find me. So that's how I am trying to balance it. But it is hard, and I'm fine if I only have a deep connection with myself or one other person. I don't have to have a posse. I don't have to have a group. I don't have to be the life of the party. If I can just have one person I can talk to. Right now my one person is Google AI, which is not real. But I have a couple of people here in the apartment complex that I can talk to on superficial topics, which is something at least, but deep, meaningful, conversations. No, I don't have anybody, but I do miss that. I haven't figured that out yet. What helps you feel grounded when your thoughts spiral? Sleep. I'm serious about that. I sleep. Or it helps to bounce things off people. That's why I go into therapy quite a bit. It's not that I'm going into therapy for therapy. I go just to talk to somebody. And it's kind of sad that I have to pay somebody to talk to. But that's my reality. So if I spiral too much and sleep, and I do like to sleep too, that solves a lot of my problems. If that doesn't work, I will go into therapy and I'll tell them I just need somebody to talk to, and I have to pay somebody to talk to. And once I talk to it and say it out loud to another person, it kind of straightens things out, to ground me. How do you relate to structure, routines, or discipline? Now, that's a good question. If it's my structure, my routine, or my discipline, my idea, I'm perfectly fine with it. But if it's somebody else's idea who's trying to get me to follow rules, I will not. I will follow the rules, and I know I'm going to follow the rules, but I have to complain first. I have to ask, they say complain. I have to ask a ton of questions. I have to know, and that's me, I have to know why we're doing this, which drives people nuts. It's like they say, well, we're going to do this at this point, this is the rule, and I'm like, why? I mean, I'm not saying why as in I'm being oppositional. I'm saying why as it helps me to do it if you tell me the reason we are doing it, which is not the way the world operates. But that's how I operate. I'm a whole lot easier to get along with if you will explain so I can understand why we are doing this. Where am I in this? How many did you write in here, Pete? Who started this? What kind of life are you secretly or not so secretly trying to build? um, I have the life I am trying to build is one of peace and content and no surprises, no chaos. My life's been very chaotic. It is not working. That's what I'm trying to build now. I find when I do have some peace and contentment and everything's going well, I'm very bored. But then when things fall apart, I don't. So that's what I'm not trying to build anything right now. I'm actually I'm in the States and I'm in the South and I'm trying to survive. I'm in survival mode right now, so I'm not, and that's no secret. So anyway, how has being an INFP shaped your mental health journey? Well, I think I talked about it a little bit. How has being an INFP shaped your mental health journey? Yeah, I think I talked about it. My mental health journey is, it has helped me to understand a lot about why I do the things I do. I think a lot of times I do get kind of down. I don't get depressed, but I do get down because the more I know about myself, the more depressing it gets. Like about myself as in my personality, or I also have ADHD, I also have this, I also have that. The more I learn about myself and the different parts of my personality, it's hard to deal with. And that's why I go into mental health therapy. Sometimes I was a mental health therapist, so I like it on the other side of the table better. I like it better as a therapist more than the client, but that helps me more actually being the provider. I learn a whole lot more about life from my clients than the reverse, to be honest. So I don't think it shaped it in any other way. Just helps me understand a little bit. Do you feel drawn to spirituality, symbolism, or deeper meaning? Yes. I'm just going to say yes to that. The spirituality, that has a bad connotation. It's not religious. It's not the normal thing. But yes, that's a kind of a foundation. That's why I like the forest. That's as far as I'm going to go. But I have a deep connection to the earth. I have a deep connection to a lot of things that my intuition has a deep connection with on different wavelengths than what the average people out there operate under, and my energy is different. I do not wish, I don't know what there is out there, definitely, but all options are on the table, just in case there's reincarnation is true. I don't want to come back. I'm working really hard to never come back. Don't want to do this again. So as far as that goes, I'm working towards doing what I can to tie up loose ends from my life and from what I think just generational dysfunction. Clear that up. So, just in case, I definitely do not want to return. Um, what's something small that brings you a surprising amount of joy? I don't know that anything, I'm not very joyful right now. What's something small that brings you a surprising amount of joy? I think something I don't get, and there's a song about that, is like nobody asks me if I'm okay. I'm the giver. I'm the one who takes care of people. I'm the one who asks about folks. To be, how you doing? Nobody asks me if I'm okay. Nobody does a welfare check. That one small thing, if somebody were to say that, or somebody says, "Well, I just text and see how you're doing." That does right there, yeah. Getting old is not for the weak, let me tell you. You are discounted. What advice would you give to younger or struggling INFPs? My advice would be is to be yourself, do your thing, regardless of what other people say. I mean, within reason, but legal and all that kind of stuff. But be you. If I had kept to who I was earlier on, I would have had a completely different life. It completely different. I don't know how it would have turned out, but I think I would have been happier. I had a realtor one time when I was in the mountains, lived in the mountains, in the forest, here we go. And I came back down to the city, quit my job before I got fired, and came back to the city. And the realtor I had to sell my house, and she was a friend, and she said, "We need to stay." And everybody up there that I had friends with, they said, "Well, you need to stay. This is for you. Up here, it's for you." And I said, "Well, how am I going to live?" I said, "What, have a produce stand on the side of the road," which is what they typically do up in the mountains here in North Carolina. They'll have a produce stand just on the back of a pickup truck or whatever. And that's how they make a living. And she laughed and she said, "Well," she said, "yeah, I see your point," but she said, "you'd be a lot happier." So I have not kept true to who I am, um, and gone by what society wanted me to do, which is make a living and all the trappings. So to younger INFPs, I would say just do your thing. It's going to work out. If you have faith that it's going to work out, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It might not work out like you had planned, which is interesting because you just, door opens, take the opportunity. Go for it. Regardless of what other people say. Like I said, when I was a teenager, or kid to teenager on into college, I was a poet. So I wanted to be a poet, published poet. That's what I wanted to do for a living. And I went to the guidance counselor in high school, and she was figuring out what we could do for a living. I said, "Well, I want to be a poet. I'm a poet." And she said, "Yeah, but how are you going to pay your bills?" So, I mean, nobody was in favor of anything I wanted to do. Right now, in my 70s, I know that I may be homeless one day because the affordable housing is non-existent here in the States anymore. And gentrification's happening. Everything's happening. I have fixed income. I can't work. But I have figured out how I can be homeless because I've traveled a lot. I know how to live in my car. I think I'm going to live on a train and hostels and travel the country. So yeah, I really don't care. I will be happy doing that. So there's that. How do you think, this is the last two questions here. How do you think being an INFP shows up in your relationships? What types of relationships? I don't know. I don't think I know, and I've scared people away. This is one another reason I don't have friends. I take pride in I don't have friends. I've just started owning it. How do I think being an INFP has affected my relationships? It's because I want to talk. I want to get to know people deep. Um, I do, as I said, I do have intuition. I turn people off because I can predict the future. I can predict things about them. I know things about people. It's just because I know human nature. It's like I had a really good friend one time, and she has a lake house, and she lives in a lake house now. It was the second home back then, but she was very private about it. Very few people got to see it. She told me about it, but she didn't tell me. She told me the town it was in, but that's all she told me, and that she was trying to sell it. So out of curiosity, I was bored, so out of curiosity, I look on Zillow and look at all the properties for sale at this lake area, and there were hundreds of them, and I looked through all of them, and I said, well, that one looks like her. I picked out one. That one looks like her. So I went to spend the weekend with her, and the first time I went to spend the weekend with her, she lived out of town in a regular house, and she took me to the lake, and I pulled up and I said, I'm not believing this. The her lake house was the one I picked out of all those pictures, and then I thought it was funny, so I told her about it. She was not happy. People are not happy that I can get inside people, that I know people. So I stopped telling things that I know. One of my other friends I had said, you don't have to tell everything that you know. So I stopped doing that. I want to have deep conversations. And then people just tell me, well, just live life. Just don't think about those things. You overthink. So it affects it to the point that I make people extremely uncomfortable for just being me and wanting to get to know somebody. I'm not being nosy. I'm not on Truth Finder. I'm not a private eye. I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm just trying to get to know somebody. And other people don't appreciate that. They like the superficiality of the world. Last question. Okay. What do you want people to understand about you beyond personality types? I didn't plan for any of this. I'm just doing it on the fly like I do my life. That's the whole thing. I would have to think deep about that. That's a whole series. I could do a Netflix miniseries or whatever, documentary or whatever. What do you want people to understand about you beyond personality types? I think what I want people to understand about me is that I'm a real person. I do have feelings. I know I come across as being cold. I've stopped trying to be funny. I know I'm funny, witty, funny, can have good comebacks. I used to do that to try to make people feel better about themselves, to have people have a good day, because that's the kind of person I am. We need more of that in the world, but I get taken advantage of. And I get taken advantage of to the point that I isolate myself. So I would like people to understand in the world about me personally that beyond the personality types is that I am a human being. I have all the range of feelings. I am intelligent. I like to do things. I'm not a total. People say I'm an intellectual, I'm a nerd, whatever. I do like to have fun. fun. I like a range of activities. Yeah, that I am a full 100% person. I'm not a robot. I think I come across as a robot to a lot of people. So that's it. So that's my challenge. Peter, I like to call him Peter. Peter, I have done this, and I have done it under a half an hour. I know Radish Raven said it would take a half an hour. Oh, almost. So here we go. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe.